Hello everybody and welcome to another Bitrue video. My name is Adam and today we have a very special interview for you. Kindly joining us is Tseng from Naos Finance, and we're speaking with Naos today as they are entering the BTR Vote. Kevin, welcome. It's great to speak with you. Could you give us a quick self-introduction?
Yeah, thanks, Adam, and it's a pleasure to be here. We're super excited to be joining the Bitrue community and family. So as for myself, I came from traditional finance. This is, crypto is definitely one of the most interesting experiences that I have thus far. I started my career as an investment banker in New York and Hong Kong, and then also, dabbling between strategic investments with Alibaba Group and Walt Disney Company in the States and also in China, but also spent a large amount of time in Southeast Asia working on startups. So I was a founder for Zalora, Foodpanda, Lazada, focusing Southeast Asia, Taiwan, Hong Kong. So yeah, it's been great. I think my experience is in traditional finance or in equity startups has been also relatively small considering what's going on with crypto, and I think that's what draws the team and me into building Naos Finance.
Okay, well, we're very grateful that you've given up some of your day to come and speak with us. We've had a bunch of our users asking us to list Naos in the past, but I'm sure there are still a lot of people who aren't completely familiar with you guys yet. So I've got a few questions to pose to you today so that everyone can help understand you better. So if you're ready, we can dive right in.
Absolutely.
So can you give me an introduction to Naos Finance and how do you stand out among the thousands of DeFi projects out there already?
That's a great question. So I'll answer the second question first. So
Sure.
I think Naos is uniquely positioned in a way that we're not a quote unquote DeFi protocol, right? What we do is we're facilitating the borrowing of crypto assets by using real world assets as collateral, right? So for example, you potentially could use corporate bonds or real estate or anything of real world asset, anything with the real world value as a collateral, right? So, and then you can borrow DAI, USDT, BUSD, any type of stable coins. So essentially what we're doing is we're building a bridge between CeFi and DeFi, and by CeFi and then centralized finance or traditional finance, right? So we're building this financial metaverse whereby, real world have access to DeFi world and vice versa.
Okay, thank you. So how do you design the actual Naos protocol? Like what is Naos's solution to bring real world assets on chain and use them as collateral in DeFi lending?
So it's a lot of hard work, right? So I think for most of the DeFi protocols, I would say 99% of the DeFi protocol out there, the team will have to define the parameter, the game, the rules from day one, right? And then once you launch mainnet, it's pretty much automatically, functioning, right? If you set everything correctly. But for now, it's going to be an ongoing process, right? So as I said, we do have, part of the protocol standing in CeFi and part of the protocol standing in DeFi. The DeFi side of things is actually quite easy. So we have a lending protocol. So Naos protocol consists of two sub protocols, right? So one is a liquidity protocol, we call it Formation. The other one is a lending protocol, we call it Galaxy. So for Galaxy, we essentially emulate the entire banking process. So once a borrower using real world assets as collateral will be able to tokenize it, we'll be able to lock it in, and then go through the entire due diligence process, asset evaluation process, and keep it there as a collateral. I think the unique thing that we're doing here is that not only we can work with lending protocols such as Aave, Maker, and Venus, but we're also building our own liquidity protocol. So the formation, which is designed to allow us to not only have to depend on the partnerships, but also be able to build out liquidity pool ourselves to deploy capital to the real world.
Okay, yeah, that sounds fantastic. So as well as the protocol, you of course you have the Naos token. Can you tell me a bit more about what's the actual role of the token in the protocol, and what is your opinion about Naos's the token's value capture mechanism?
Right. So Naos actually has a lot of utilities, right? So not only it's a governance token allowing our community to build or to decide on what type of asset to be on chain. So we do have all the governance features and plans for Naos token, but we also have a design similar to Curve, right? So Naos holder will be able to lock their Naos token and then enjoy a boost for the yield, right? So imagine you are so the entire Naos protocol, we accept two type of we interact with all kinds of stablecoins, but we also interact with Naos token. So as a lender, you do have the choices to say, let's just say you have $1,000 of USDT. There are a couple of choices that you can do, right? You can deposit it to Compound, Aave, any other stable coin pool and earn a stable yield, right? But you also are able to deposit your stables to Naos, and instead of locking in there to earn yield, we actually deploy that capital. So essentially, the two type of metrics that we're looking at is the TVL, but also the total loan disbursement, right? So for us, it's all about utilization of the capital, be able to turn that around. So imagine, let's just say someone deposited $1,000, but we disperse it 2 or 3 times a year. We amplify, we leverage that utility of that capital. So if you're a Naos holder, you deposit your Naos, you'll be able to earn a boost yield from the income generating assets that we bring on board. Not only that, Naos token has a unique role in on the asset origination side, right? So we require our borrowers to purchase insurance to protect their asset or to have a skin in the game, right? They do have to purchase Naos token to be able to, or to be eligible to borrow. So there are a couple of things that that's already in the plan, and we do have a couple more that are coming up.
Okay, I was checking out your Twitter profile a little earlier today, and I saw that you mentioned you are building a financial metaverse on there. Could you tell me a little bit more about what exactly you mean by a financial metaverse and what Naos's role will be in building it?
Right. So I think metaverse is, broadly speaking, I think metaverse just means that a gateway between, virtual world, a gateway between real world and virtual world, right? So imagine Ready Player One, right? You put on your goggle, you're ready to get into that virtual world, right? Naos is doing exactly the same thing, right? So we are the gateway between real world and DeFi, right? So company in the real world, they will be able to put on their goggle, and then start tapping into the financial services in DeFi, right? Right now, it's a little bit immature in a way that the traditional banking process or the infrastructure is pretty well designed, right? Even though it's inefficient, it's not most capital effective. But I think we are trying to build an ecosystem in DeFi whereby, for borrowers in the real world, they can feel very little differences between going to the bank in their neighborhood versus putting on their goggle and just tap into DeFi. So now we are building that infrastructure, but we're not doing this alone, right? So our partnership with Chainlink, with Maker, with IOTech, and a bunch of others, Tidal for DeFi insurance. What we're trying to build here is an ecosystem of that financial services that we can create that gateway and allow people to go in and out like freely.
Yeah, that's great. So can you tell me about why you chose Bitrue for listing, and do you see any benefits for Bitrue users in this collaboration?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, Bitrue is definitely one of the top exchanges that we've been, we've been eyeing for a long time. I think for any project to get visibility, it's not only to the top tier exchanges, but also the geographic expansion, right? So we wanted to. What we're trying to do is we're trying to tap into different type of community, different type of users, different type of geographics. And when we're picking on exchanges, we're definitely looking at the diversity issue. What we're trying to do here is that we're trying to make sure that people are familiar with Naos and what Naos is set up to do, right? Right now, I think the market focus is all about GameFi, metaverse, and NFTs. But I think DeFi has proven itself to be an utility or a business model that are here to stay, right? So we're here to build the process and building a long-term relationship. So we're definitely looking at community expansion, user base expansion strategies. Yeah, sorry. And what was the second question?
Yeah, do you foresee like any long-term benefits, or are there any long-term partnerships that you're hoping to establish with Bitrue?
Absolutely. So I think for us, we're not looking to capture the market share of the existing 1% of the crypto users, right? If you're looking at DeFi versus centralized finance, we're making tremendous progress already, right? Right now we're looking at the total market at $160 billion TVL, but compared to what's the possibility of what the opportunities are in CeFi, this is pretty tiny, right? So I think the game here is not about capturing that 1%. It's all about how do we expand that 1% into 2% or potentially even 50%, right? So I think Naos' position is that we're not here to attract, or we're not here to offer high APYs temporarily to attract users, right? But we're here to attract people who are interested in DeFi but not ready, right? Well, I'm talking about Warren Buffett. Well, I'm talking about JP Morgan. I'm talking about Bank of America. I'm talking about traditional establishments that are interested in dabbling into DeFi, but they also want to invest in asset that they are more familiar with, right? So for Naos, we've been having conversation with banks. We've been having conversation with Fortune 500 companies, right? And it's really hard for them to understand how Compound makes money. It's really hard to understand how Maker can print out DAI at virtually zero cost of capital, right? They don't understand where the yield comes from. But I think Naos is here to fill the gap, right? Because our position is, you can tap into Naos, right? And then you can experience DeFi. You can go through the entire process virtually, but at the same time, the underlying asset is something that you're familiar with, right? As corporate loans, as the account receivables from Apple, from Walmart, from Fortune 500 companies, right? And those assets, the yield that you're getting are the interest income coming from those real world assets. And I think the concept really resonates with them, right? Because they now understand, okay, I see how DeFi works. I like the technology. I like this tech stack. But I also understand the asset, right? So I think Naos is becoming a gateway for a lot of mature or establishments to take their first step into DeFi. And that's how we're thinking about expanding that existing cryptocurrency market share, right? Or the user base. So from a Bitrue perspective, I think the benefit that we can bring to you is pretty clear, right? We're not here to bring you traffic from Binance or Coinbase, right? But we can bring you traffic or additional or new users that are previously not on exchanges, not on DeFi. They are tapping into DeFi for the first time, right? And they want to invest in an asset that they actually understand, and that is Naos.
Okay, fantastic answer. Well, Kevin, that is all my questions for today. Thank you very much for coming and telling us about Naos Finance. Is there any final message that you'd like to leave to the Bitrue users who may be thinking about voting for you in the next few days?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we are launching our mainnet in about 48 hours. No, sorry, maybe 36 hours. So we have been, we've been meeting our aggressive timeline for tech development. We launched our mainnet first for formation in July. We're meeting the deadline. We have all things ready. We are uniquely positioned because we are not only compliant, we have financing license in multiple regions. We already have millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars of real world assets ready to be deployed. We're not just a DeFi protocol that are building a simple business model, but we're building infrastructure. We're building an ecosystem. So I think right now, even though the talk of the street is all about GameFi and the metaverse, but I think what we're here to do is we'll fundamentally change how we think about finance, how we think about real world financing, and even potentially credit gap. So we're super excited to be part of the Bitrue family, and look forward to a great partnership.
Okay, so Naos Finance will be available in the BTR Vote. Wish you the best of luck towards that, Kevin, and I hope that we can have you back on the channel soon to talk about all the successes that I'm sure Naos Finance will be having very soon.
Will do. Thank you, guys. Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much. Bye, Kevin.
Take care.